Welcome to the beginning of Rum Month. A few weeks ago, I took a deep dive into Martinique rum, and I talked about how the Martinique rum that Don and Vic used to use is probably not the same Martinique rum that we're getting off the island today. And everyone seemed to love it. So I thought to myself, what better time than now for Rum Month to talk about some extinct and not so forgotten rums of old. So today we're going to be taking a look at Lowndes London Dock Jamaican rum. It's the rum that was used in the original 1934 zombie. So let's do this. Now, if you don't know this already, the original zombie was created in 1934 by Ernest Raymond Beaumont Gant, later known as Don Beach, at his bar, Don the Beachcomber in Hollywood, California. Now, legend has it that the zombie was created because a patron of Don's walked into the bar one day and told Don, whip me up something, I need something stiff to help me get through. It was either a long flight or a long board meeting, we're not 100% sure. Don whipped him up a zombie and sent him on his way. 2 days later, the patron comes back and says, Don, make me the same exact thing you made me 2 days ago because that thing made me a zombie for 2 days. And the zombie was born. Now, Don was a bit of a showman and liked to embellish a lot of his stories. In fact, Don has been put on record as saying that he went through as much as 15 cases of rum while workshopping the zombie. And honestly, I'm inclined to believe the latter story. Now, the zombie is a 10-ingredient cocktail, and so I find it hard to believe that anybody, even modern-day bartenders today, could whip up a 10-ingredient cocktail on the spot and it be as balanced and nuanced as the zombie. Speaking of which, to make our 1934 zombie, we are going to need dark Jamaican rum, aged Puerto Rican rum, 151 Demerara rum, Falernum, Don's Mix, Grenadine, lime juice, Pernod, and Aromatic Bitters. So let's talk about the dark Jamaican rum in this zombie. Now, we know from multiple accounts that the original zombie, the original rum that Don used, was Lowndes London Dock Jamaican rum. And yet beyond that, I actually couldn't find much on this specific rum. If you actually happen to know anything, definitely drop a comment below because I'd love to hear it. Now, there are two accounts of actual replacements for the Lowndes London Dock Jamaican rum, and according to Jeff the Beach Bum Berry, Appleton VX, or what is now known as Appleton Signature, makes a good replacement. However, we do know something about the rums that were available to Don at the time. You see, rums up until about the 1960s coming off the island of Jamaica were pretty much 100% pot still, bold, funky, and higher proof. Now, that doesn't sound like the Appleton Signature that I know. So instead, we're going to turn towards another example of a possible substitute for our London Dock Jamaican rum. This one actually comes from an article on the Rum Reader, where they're interviewing Garrett Richards. Now, Garrett Richards is not responsible for this blend, but he talks about the first time he met Steven Remsburg, who, up until very recently, had one of the world's largest rum collections, including the London Dock Jamaican. While talking to Garrett, Steven tells him all about the Lowndes London Dock Jamaican rum and goes on to say that he busted his butt trying to recreate the flavor profile. And he said that he found the simplest way to do it was to simply split Caruba with a 100% pot still Jamaican 50-50. Now, using this information, we know we can take Caruba and cut it with a 100% pot still Jamaican rum. But the question then begs, what 100% pot still Jamaican rum? Well, going back to the early information that we know about the rums available at that time, we're looking for something that is pot still, funky, bold, and a higher proof. Now, let's be honest, Caruba in and of itself is not 100% pot still. So no matter what we blend it with, this will not be an accurate representation, 100% accurate representation, but we will get pretty close. In order to get as close to 100% pot still Jamaican rum that's bold and funky and a higher proof, we're going to split our Caruba with Smith & Cross. Smith & Cross is 100% pot still Jamaican rum that is high in ester and 57% ABV. Now, when we split this with our Caruba, we get something that is dark, funky, bold, almost 100% pot still, and comes in at 48.5% ABV, which is closer to the rums coming off the island of Jamaica at the time. So let's mix up a sample of this and give it a try. We're going to go 50-50, and we're going to use an ounce of each for a 2-ounce pour. And there we have it, a Lowndes London Dock cologne. Let's give it a try. So I mean, first of all, just visually speaking, it is dark. Now, it's not like super dark, but it's pretty dark. On the nose, it's funky. We're getting that Jamaican hogo with a slight burnt caramel note. Let's give it a taste. That is bold and funky It's definitely got some kick because it is a higher proof. I can see how this would make an excellent zombie. All right, so let's get to it and let's make a zombie, shall we? In your shaking tin, add 6 drops of Pernod, 1 dash of Aromatic Bitters, 3/4 of an ounce or 22.5 milliliters of lime juice, 1 teaspoon of Grenadine, ½ ounce or 15 milliliters of Dawn's mix, ½ ounce or 15 milliliters of our Falernum, 1 ounce or 30 milliliters of our 151 Demerara Rum, 1½ ounces or 45 milliliters of our aged Puerto Rican rum, and 1½ ounces or 45 milliliters of our Lowndes London Dock clone. Add 6 ounces of pebble ice to your shaking tin. And flash blend for 5 seconds. Grab a chilled zombie glass and open pour in. Top with more pebble ice. Garnish with a mint sprig and serve with a straw. And there you have it, a 1934 zombie, as close as I can get to the original specs, with a clone of the original rum that was used in this cocktail. Let's give it a try. I stand by my original statement. There is absolutely zero possibility that Don was able to whip this cocktail up on the spot without any tweaking. This thing is delicious. There is this wonderful molasses and caramel note that is coming through from that Lowndes London Dock clone. That is being complemented by the 151. We've got this lovely cinnamon and grapefruit tang on the back end. The Grenadine is a little lost, but that's to be expected at only a teaspoon. It's really there to just help sweeten the cocktail a little bit. The lime juice is doing a wonderful job of providing acidity. This thing rides wave upon wave of flavor. If you've never had an original 1934 zombie, I highly recommend you go out and make one for yourself because they are delicious. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Next week, we're going to be taking a look at one of Appleton's most famous rums, the Dagger Punch. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click that little notification bell, follow me over on Instagram at MixingUpTiki, and until next week, you guys know the deal. Kole Maluna. Oh. Wow. That is just so good. And there's this, there's just this molassesy note on the back end that I've never had in a zombie before. And it's gotta be from that rum blend because I've made plenty of zombies before and I've never used this rum blend before. So, wow, that is